Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Hope you had a good weekend. Today, it's the 11th of July, 2016. Sun sign still the same in Cancer. Our moon sign is in Libra. So we have a water sign in Cancer right here. Water sign in Cancer, and we have an air sign in Libra. So water and air. The outside, the conscious mind, is the water, the emotions. So as we go out into the world, look for the emotions. You might not have to look for them, they'll find you. There'll be a lot of emotions that are out there, and the underlying desire that's there is to find balance through all of this. Okay, but this is an air sign. Air is about words and actions. The way we find balance is through the words we speak and the actions we take. It's equally as important, though, to remember that not only do we want to say things or do things that are going to help us, we also want to avoid saying or doing things that are going to hurt us. So that's where the balance comes in. We have to find that balance. We have to start by being the justice of our own lives first and foremost, because that is what our opportunity is. God gives us our being, and we need to now show that we can move forward. We're not just useless lumps of energy, because if God didn't need us to be here, if the universal source didn't need us to be here, we wouldn't be here. So there's a purpose for us, and the purpose is we need to be able to, like the energy before us, balance ourselves out and continue to emanate forward. And the way we do that is through understanding our energy, the energy fields that we're working in, and we just keep moving forward. Okay, some of the aspects we're looking at over the course of the day have already occurred. Saturn, after midnight, came in. We had Uranus, unexpected changes, maybe interesting dreams over the night, and are looking at how we communicate. Maybe messages have come through. 11:33 a.m. Mercury, the messenger, is going to be in trine with Chiron, that part of ourselves that wants to and needs to be healed. So we might find some interesting way of how to deal with that through our communication or a message about how to do that. 11:47, shortly after that, Pluto brings some deep transformation, so might be related to this right here, the message that we receive. And then later this evening, 7:52 p.m., the sun and the moon are going to be square. So those emotions, the water, the emotions of the Cancer, square off with the air, the words and actions. So maybe, and the square is always a lesson, some challenge. So maybe we want to make sure we think before we speak. Don't get too hot-headed. Don't get caught up in anything. Make sure we have our armor on so we're not too oversensitive. The moon phase is 46.2% of the way full, making its way up to the full moon on the 19th. Jewish calendar 5 Tammuz is the name of the day. The daily thought is the power of one. One individual had brought the world to the brink of destruction, but for the mercies of the Master of the universe, who ordained that the earth shall stand firm and not fall. Such is the power of a single human being to do evil. 1,000 times over is the power of each one of us to do good. And finally, solar wind 490.8 kilometers per second. That large gash across the sun, as you can see here, is turned into something even larger. Like a big hole is cracked open in the top of the sun here. Very interesting. M-class flare possibility is up. Now there's a 10% chance of having an M-class flare, but only 1% chance that there might be an X-class flare. And the geomagnetic storm activity is slightly subsiding. It's going from 35 down to 25% in the mid latitudes, upper latitudes 45 down to 30. So there is a decrease taking place. So that's the cosmic weather, the energy around us. The whole idea being that we're moving through a sea of energy. This energy has intelligence to it. As we are able to communicate with the energy around us, we find that it communicates with us. We find that this energy ultimately is connected to a source, call it God, Holy Spirit, Great Spirit, Divine Providence, whatever it is. This is the source behind the source behind the source. It's not the individual personalities that have been players along the way that all have different names that we've heard. It's about that ultimate source that flows through all of us. So there you go. That's our cosmic weather. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, I got three interesting sightings here. The first one comes to us from Italy. You see the object in question here. Then we see the airplane. Dark clouds. UFOs like this one have been known to either be the cause of the lightning in some clouds or to be attracted to it, because around the globe UFOs have been seen in the clouds when the lightning flashes. This is not the first time ever. Just here in Taiwan in the last 10 years they saw UFOs in clouds 2 times, 2 different storms. So everywhere there is a storm, there's a potential that it could be a UFO causing it or attracted to it. Okay, and there's some good video here of the clouds and the storm. All right. Video itself is a minute 56 seconds. That's very good, interesting footage. And there's the ship, the airplane, and over here the UFO. All right, I'm going to leave the link available so you can check it out. There it is right there, UFO. All right, this other sighting is a cloud formation. This is in Washington State. Washington witness at Port Angeles reported watching and photographing a sphere-shaped UFO that appeared to emerge from a cloud formation, hovered, and then moved back into the cloud, according to the testimony in case 7676808 from the Mutual UFO Network Reporting Database. Guessing this is it right here. This is an interesting looking cloud, though, nonetheless. Right there, whatever that may be. Even this one up here looks like it could be something going on with it. Almost the way the formation is here. Alright, so there it is, close up. A reporting witness outside the beach with a girlfriend when the object was first seen. Back on June 4th, we observed a dark UFO emerge from a cloud over the harbor. The witness stated, we've been commencing on the oddness of a long, thin, spirally dense cloud on a clear day. Cool. And one last piece today here. Okay. How many remember the TV series Creature Features? It kind of looks like that character on Creature Features, huh? Except this is supposed to be on Mars. Mad Hatter on Mars communicates Martian's greeting to NASA Rover. Okay, so that's what's supposedly on Mars, or is it Greenland? Is this just one of the scientists that are goofing off there? Looks sort of like, I don't know what this is, if this is a piece that's part of the rover, or if this is part of him, this being, whatever that is, that shadow. I love to look at the Mars photos and find any odd anomaly that may point us to the right direction towards disclosure. This photo is an odd one that you might never forget. Found an alien, not just any alien, but a Mad Hatter that lives up on up to his name because he is giving the Curiosity rover the bird. Of course, on an alien planet, this could be as much as a greeting as like it is in California. Let's look at it from an alien perspective. This rover, the size of the BMW, is crushing at tiny houses and destroying alien artifacts by running over them with its metal wheels. And any aliens on Mars are just supposed to take it lying down. Not this one. He's got something in his mind, and I love his top hat. A sign of a true gentleman. NASA, I greet you with the same sign that the aliens on Mars send you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so there you go. There it is again. The image up on Mars or in Greenland, wherever you feel comfortable that it is. And that is our UFO news. I'll be back. Stay tuned.
It's time for the UFO news.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, Big Brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What if I land and two if I see? And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. Welcome back. Let's continue on. So, last week on Friday, I was talking about some of the issues that were going on. I was talking about Black Lives Matter, the organization. I want you to understand that there's a difference between the organization Black Lives Matter and the real issue and the real community, the black community. Two different things, okay? Black Lives Matter has hijacked that community, and they go out and they're really acting very terroristic like. Okay, they're not. They're definitely terrorists. Okay, and they're causing lots of problems, all under the guise of standing up against police brutality amongst the black community. The problem is police brutality is an issue, but it's not just limited to the black community. Black Lives Matter wants to make them stand out as if somehow the black community are the special snowflakes that are only having to deal with police brutality, and that's not the case. People of all races are dealing with it. Blacks and whites are the two most common groups, but you can see statistics that have been coming out that show that there are a lot more whites that are killed. The percentages of blacks killed seems to be a bit higher because there's a small percentage of blacks in America that are, you're taking from than there are whites, but nonetheless, both are dealing with the issues of police brutality. Now, many years ago, you've heard me talk about this on the show, and you can go back to some of the past years, and I've talked about the issues of police brutality, and I often said that there's going to come a time when the police are going to find themselves in a real difficult situation because they're pitting themselves against the American people, and ultimately that's going to, bite them in the butt because they're not going to have the support of the people. And they needed to really kind of get their act together. The good ones needed to step up. The ones who were the bad apples needed to be weeded out because they were giving everyone a bad name. So here we are, 2016, and that seems to have come to fruition. We're having problems going on. There are problems in the police force with some of the officers, just like there are problems, in other areas in the world with some groups. We have to get past the point of using the word all because we try to label everybody in a group, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes to say all of one group act a certain way because that's never the case. What you always have, it seems to be, whether it's the blacks, the whites, the reds, the yellows, the transgenders, the gays, different religions, whatever it is, there's always just a small percentage that are the problem makers. Majority aren't problem makers. Majority want to get along. It's always that radical, extreme 10% of every one of these groups. So we could go on and we could pick any day of the week and choose an issue we want to deal with and, and demonize a group as being bad because every day we could find a group that has one member of that group, and we can choose to assign everybody in that group the qualities of that one individual. But we have to stop doing that. That's not doing us any good. We also need to learn our history because that has been kept for us. We've we've lost sight of who we are as a people, where we've truly come from. We're so caught up in this moment here of these bodies, these skin colors. We forget about things like reincarnation, which was the opportunity for us to come back lifetime after lifetime, exploring different vehicles, different bodies. So those of us who are white now are probably black another time. Those who are black now are probably white another time. Those who are Asian or Hispanic now or other times. We've all had the opportunity. That's what all of this, partly is about. Learning to understand. So we need to be more tolerant with ourselves. We need to be more tolerant with who and what we're about because we've been going through this for a while and we're bigger than the situation. If we really look closely at what's happening and what's being pushed, the mainstream media, Fox includes, is included in that, even though they'll tell you they're not mainstream. Fox, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, all the main channels you get there, they're all pushing an agenda. An agenda because, remember, the media is controlled. You can go back to the shows last week and you can see the show all about the media control. Okay, so everything is controlled. That's why alternative media is so important. It's an information war. We need to share this information with each other. That's how we make better decisions, through better information. Now, here's a video I'm going to just show you, and I'm going to leave it for you to play. It's an 8.5-minute video by Paul Joseph Watson, Truth About Black Lives Matter. And he really lays it out. He shows you statistics. This is the consensus of what people are finally coming to understand about this group. It's not a group that represents anybody. They're a group that represents themselves. They're an activist group funded by those who have an agenda, and the members of the group have an agenda. They're not representing the black community, and that's what I think many members of the black community are seeing. You could see there's a bit of a backlash if you look at the articles out today, because people are seeing the violence that is occurring through this group, by this group, just surrounding this group. And that's not the general nature of what's going on in America. Not also remember DeRay, the guy who is outspoken with the group as one of its leaders. He is was a couple weeks ago. He said his account got hacked, and then information showed up online of alleged information that was hacked that connected him to communications with Loretta Lynch and the administration about wanting to create chaos using the Black Lives Matter movement in order to create a racial divide further and move us towards some civil war. Remember these? These are the plans that came up. Well, there might be some shenanigans. So just let you know that Black Lives Matter isn't what they appear to be. So don't be fooled by them. All right, the other thing I want to bring up here also is this link, because we are 1 week away, 7 days away from the first convention, the Republican National Convention, July 18th through 21st. So buckle your seats, my friends. Get the popcorn ready. This could be an interesting week. The last battle everyone's going to have before they get to that convention. We know all the tensions are in the air. We know all the things that are taking place. It's all coming to a head now. So let's see what's going on. But I wanted to make sure that link was available so you could check it out at your leisure. All right. I have an interview that I'm going to play here. This is an interview that is I'm replaying this. It was an interview originally done last year in February 2015. And I just was looking through and didn't see the video out there, so I figured I'd better re-upload it because I don't know how it got removed, but it did. Nonetheless, this is an interview with a woman named Kristen Ann. She wrote a book called The Hidden Truth, really awesome book, all about her experiences with a number of interesting characters, like a gentleman named Dan Fry, the discussions they had about extraterrestrials, her visits personally to Egypt on 2 different occasions. Very fascinating book. We had a wonderful discussion, and I wanted to bring this to your attention again. I'm going to play a bit of it for you right now. So, this is Kristen Ann and the interview with First Contact Radio. Hello, Earthlings. This is Josh Poe of First Contact Radio. Today we have another interview. This time it's with a woman named Kristen Ann. Kristen Ann is the author of an extremely eye-opening book called The Hidden Truth. She was born in the Midwest in the mid-50s and always wanted to understand everything at its deepest levels. As a child, she was the kind of kid who asked teachers questions that they couldn't answer. At 9 years of age, Kristen had a near-death experience that gave her proof that there was much more to life than this physical plane or dimension. Starting in the 60s, she read all the spiritual and metaphysical books that she could find, and her inquisitiveness brought a lifetime of fascinating experiences, along with meeting the most incredible teachers and people with in-depth knowledge, experiences, and information. It's a lifetime of information that needed to be shared, so she wrote in her book, The Hidden Truth. The intriguing people she met include a UFO contactee from the late 50s. Kristen will share some of the mind-blowing conversations she had with Dan Fry. They include some of the most intriguing details on why extraterrestrials are here on Earth, especially at this pivotal point in time. You can find Kristen's book, The Hidden Truth, at ExploringSacredSpace.com. It contains detailed explanations and information on things you may have always wondered about. Thank you very much for being on the show, Kristen. I really appreciate you being here. I really enjoyed reading your book. How are you today?
I'm good. Trying to stay warm.
I completely understand. You're in that cold part of the country.
Yeah.
So, The Hidden Truth. All of your interest in what is taking place in your life seem to have stemmed from being a child. and when you were young, you had this near-death experience that was quite profound. Does it sound like a good starting place for you, and where you really became, you entered the story?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened during that experience? How did that go?
Well, I had been walking across the street and was hit by a car. But the weird thing was that I remember distinctly looking at a bush on the other side of the street and then just totally blanking out. And what happened was I relived that experience over and over and over. I was unconscious for 2 weeks, and I think I relived that experience for maybe 13 days of those 2 weeks. It was just total boring monotony of exactly what all the little minute events leading up to that, walking across the street and blanking out. Finding 2 pennies with my friend, going into the candy store, what we chose, and then getting halfway across the street. And then suddenly I was in a real peaceful setting. I was standing next to a tree, leaning against the trunk of a tree, and in front of me was a small river or brook, and all along the other side were rolling hills dotted with those tall Roman cypress trees. And eventually I crossed the river on this quaint curved bridge to my right and sat down and leaned against the trunk of a cypress tree. And after a while, from my left, from out of nowhere, behind a trunk of a tree to my left, this person walks out, and there was just something really, really special about him. I knew that I wanted to go with him, and somehow I knew when I thought about it, where he was from, I could see it in stages. First I saw a distant star, then I saw his home close up. It was like a white palace. And then I was standing inside of the entryway, and it was gorgeous. Huge high ceiling with a sort of a balcony to the second floor. And then he reached me and sat down and talked to me, and we spoke for quite a while, and all the while he knew what I was thinking. He knew that I had made up my mind. I wanted to return with him and didn't want to go back. Somehow I knew that where we were, wherever it was like a middle ground. And he was from this distant planet in a different dimension. And he, all the while, was talking me into returning. And I go into it more in depth in my book, which is called The Hidden Truth. You can see it at ExploringSacredSpace.com. At the end, he pointed to the sky, which actually was blue and sunny, but he pointed slightly up with his right hand to the right, and the square patch of the sky became like nighttime, and the one he was pointing to was a particular bright star in that formation, and I knew that was Earth. And then I woke up in the hospital and kind of shocked everyone because they all thought that there was no possible way I could live. I had received the last rites 3 times. And the doctors were stunned. They said that they couldn't understand how I could live, that they couldn't understand that with the distance I had flew in the air, the ladies in the beauty shop had seen this little body fly in the air, that I should have broken every bone in my body and be dead. And they said the only way that I could be in this condition, there was literally not a scratch. No cuts, not a scratch. They said the only way this could have happened was if I was unconscious before the car even struck. And that is exactly what happened. I had been pulled from my body right before it happened, which is, a mysterious incident in itself. And so that's what happened.
After this experience and you got out of the hospital, what was your life like then? Do you recall?
Well, it was incredibly painful, and maybe it's this way for everyone who has been unconscious for years. And maybe back then, in the 60s, they didn't realize that they had to exercise the legs, every day. But it was excruciatingly painful to try to walk. I had to learn to walk and to talk again. I could hardly see. It took a while for my body to readjust to my body.
And how
so
long did
it
you
was
say again? How long were you out once you had the
2
experience?
weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you were just having to relearn how to use that physical vehicle that you were in because you were gone for a while.
Right.
And then was your perception changed? Did you view the world in a different place at that point, or were you just focused on getting well and you really, weren't thinking on the spiritual? Where was your mind at that time?
Well, I think always since birth I was aware of different things more than other people. But since then, I was even more interested in finding out all I could about life, and I knew that there were other levels, other planes or dimensions. And so I read all that I could read on spiritual metaphysical things, which wasn't a lot starting back in the mid and early 60s. But I read all I could find by Edgar Cayce, Ruth Montgomery, Jean Dixon, things like that. Anything that I could find. Books of this sort, were hard to find back then. All the New Age books hadn't come out yet.
Mm-hmm. So how old were you when you started? Because you said you were 8 when you had the near-death experience. And then how
Right.
soon after that were you starting to read these books and really get more immersed in the spiritual subject?
By age 11, I had begun a collection, yeah.
That's not normally what you hear 11-year-olds reading.
No.
So something obviously, it was obviously a very profound experience for you that, sent you on this quest to seek what was out there.
Yeah.
So you read these books, and then along the way you started meeting teachers. And was Werner Glass, is he one of your earlier teachers?
Right. In my life, looking back on it, I can see how, it seems like I was purposely directed. And certain people seem to be directed into my life, and certain events seem to be, it's almost like it was choreographed. But I didn't want to go to college, but I was sort of, my parents made me, and I ended up, if I was going to go, I was going to choose one I at least found interesting. So I went to one out in Oregon, started by these radical hippies from New York City. And it was in this small town south of Portland called Mount Angel, Oregon. And while I was living in this house of a bunch of, hippie types, I took down this book called Alternatives to Education and opened it up to Emerson College in England, which was started by Rudolf Steiner, who was this fascinating clairvoyant. And I ended up finding out through a series of amazing coincidences that there was a Waldorf Institute. Rudolf Steiner started the Waldorf school movement, and there was a teacher's training center in Detroit. So I ended up applying and was accepted and went there for 2 years. And while I was there, our head professor who had opened this institute was named Rudolf Steiner. And I came to realize he himself had these abilities of clairvoyance, and the classes were just amazing.
Very interesting.
So mind-blowing and eye-opening that I included some of the lessons in my book.
Okay, so was Rudolf Steiner one of your instructors, or he was just the one who started this school and this program?
Rudolf Steiner was a clairvoyant who lived from 1860-something to 1925. And he made breakthroughs in every field, arts, education, sciences, even dance, and teaching. And so Rudolf Steiner had already passed, but Winterglass was one of my instructors.
Okay, so you spent 2 years at the Waldorf School, and the Waldorf School is a school that isn't necessarily teaching the way that people are taught. It's people are coming with a different learning process. Is that what's going on there? Is that the intent?
There are Waldorf schools that start from preschool and kindergarten all over the world, many of them. But this was a Waldorf Institute. It was a teacher training institute, college-level courses to teach people how to. Rudolf Steiner, back in the, toward the beginning of the century, he had lectured, and people realized how enlightened he was. And the director of the Waldorf Astoria cigarette and cigar factory realized how much insight he had, especially with children, and realized how harsh the learning process had been up to that point, especially maybe in Germany and Austria. And he asked Steiner to start a program for teaching his children that would really enhance and bring out their natural abilities. And that's how the Waldorf system started. So these courses, and that's why it was called the Waldorf system. And the courses that I took then were at the college level in learning how to teach.
Okay. And it seems. All right, very good. So I'm going to leave it right there because there's a lot more to this interview, and it's a quite fascinating interview as she gets into the discussion. You'll hear her talk about her meetings with Dan Fry, the discussions about extraterrestrials, the discussions about ancient Egypt, and then, of course, her travels. So it's a very fascinating interview. Very, very good book. You should check it out. Here's her website again here, Exploring Sacred Space. So, exploring sacredspace.com. Check it out, check it out, check it out. All right. Links available so you can do exactly that. All right, here's an article I want to bring to your attention. Chakras, a beginner's guide to the 7 energy centers. So our bodies are processing energy. So we have right down the middle these energy centers that help us do exactly that. You probably heard about chakras, or maybe seen them as visualized colorful circles running down the areas of the body. But in reality, what is the meaning of chakras? Or more importantly, do these areas exist and have effect on our personal lives? This is by Helen E. Williams. Dreamcatcher Reality says the truth is chakras are elements of our energy. Now every body has an energy field which is in tight bond with the Earth's energy field, but also makes us unique. According to science and religious Religions such as Hinduism, Buddhism, and Taoism, our energy is placed along our bundles of arteries, nerves, and veins, creating a life force grid in the form of energy wheels called chakras. Chakras, also known as the cycles of life, death, and rebirth. In their main generalization, there are 7 chakras present in each human body as areas in which the flow of life and energy is highly concentrated. From the base of the spine to the crown of the head, here are the 7 chakras. The root chakra. The first chakra is the root chakra located at the base of the spine, the tailbone, and is symbolized with the red color. According to traditions, it is a chakra related to financial issues, food and shelter, as well as the need to survive. Aside from these aspects, the red chakra is the one that deals with the tasks related to the material as well as the physical world, but also the one that controls the personal and emotional security issues. The second chakra is called the sacral chakra. It's located in one's lower abdomen and mainly connected to our ability to meet new people, accept others, have new experiences. The sacral chakra is symbolized with the orange-reddish color and is also tied with several emotional aspects. The sensory and sensual perceptions, sexuality, creativity, and pleasure are in this tight bond with it. The plexus chakra, third chakra, if a person is more confident and in control of their life, people say he or she has a stronger solar plexus chakra. This chakra is located in the upper abdomen and features an orange color. It is the link to the greater self-esteem, confidence, as well as ego power, giving us the right to think, resonate, as well as be aware of our self-worth. The heart chakra, every person can love, and the heart chakra is responsible for that. It comes with a golden yellow color located just above our hearts. The love, joy, relationships, as well as inner peace are all aspects of the heart chakra. The throat, a blue-greenish color. The throat chakra is located in our throat and vows for communication, self-expression, as well as voice skills. Every person is different when it comes to speaking, expressing oneself, and his or her beliefs. The throat chakra is all about the truthful expression, trust, as well as loyalty. Some traditions even relate it with better organization and planning, as well as trust issues. The third eye, we see the world differently when it comes to our thoughts, ideas, and visualizations of everything. The eye chakra is the filter of this vision of ours and is located just between our eyes in the lower part of the forehead with an indigo color. The eye chakra is responsible for one's imagination, wisdom, ability to think, as well as make decisions that come from intuition and insights. And finally, the crown chakra says if you are able to connect with your spirituality at a higher level, be aware of your awakened consciousness, chances are that you have a greater control of your crown chakra. This is the chakra located at the crown of our head, features a violet color, and inspires us to feel our inner and outer beauty and spiritualize with it in the form of pure bliss. In the end, you should know that there are hundreds of energy centers inside the human body. However, these 7 chakras are recognized major parts of energy, each relating to the aspects of consciousness and physical health. Another reason why they're important, these 7 chakras seem to also be aligned with the 7 seals in the book of Revelation. So, in talking about opening the 7 seals, it's opening the 7 energy centers within us, those centers that connect us. So, yes, there are many energy centers. However, we can, rather than think of every single one, we can kind of focus them down to these 7 to make it a little bit easy. And then these certainly affect others. So we just remember these: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. If we remember these chakras and we are able to work to balance out our energy within them, then it really makes a big difference. Okay? Makes a big difference in how we're working with energy. It's why we do the meditations and the chakras and all that stuff. All right, here's a message from Archangel Gabriel.
Archangel Gabriel Daily Message / Sunday, July 10, 2016 by Shelley Young. Dear ones, if you are facing an issue and you do not know what to do, ask for guidance on how to proceed for the greatest good. Then choose love, choose kindness, choose alignment, and choose creating a safe space for all. Make those your go-to actions for any situation, for they will always create a firm foundation that can be added to and built upon. Archangel Gabriel.
All right, good info. Our meditations. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. Okay, let's take a look at our chakras and make sure they're all energized and activated. So starting at the bottom of the spine, the root chakra, imagine the color red and feel the energy that is drawing to it from the earth. And with this red color chakra, just think of the color red. Red is the color of the life force energy. It's associated with the idea of the emperor, the tarot, associated with Mars, all about action. So we imagine the energy gathering in this root chakra, and then we see that energy flow up a little bit higher to that second chakra right around the belly button. And there we imagine the color orange. We feel that energy there and the gathering of all of the emotions that are there. We just let that energy keep rising up higher, just below the rib cage to the solar plexus. And there you imagine the color yellow. And then let the energy keep moving up into the heart space. And there, imagine the color green in the heart chakra, the center of love. And let the energy keep moving up higher to the throat. Imagine the color blue of the throat chakra. And let the energy keep moving up higher from there. Between the two eyes, you see the color indigo. This is the third eye, how you see through dimensions of space and time. And then the energy finally moves to the crown chakra, which is the top of the head. You see the color violet. And then the energy continues out and out into the cosmos, becoming white light and connecting with the source as it continues to move deeper and deeper. And so there we are, with this energy flowing from above and below, intersecting our bodies. And we feel all the energy moving through these various 7 chakras from the top of our head to the bottom of our spine. And we imagine the heart chakra, and imagine that all of the energy is being fueled by the love of the heart chakra, so that all the things that we do are affected by this energy of love. So let's imagine ourselves just moving through the world, walking through the world today, fully energized, and just allowing the energy and the good vibes that we feel with ourselves just to go out and influence everyone that we see and all the things that we do. And just imagine, as we're walking through the world today, as we come up to other people, they feel the energy and they smile because they feel the positivity. We find that we have an extra spring in our step as we move through the day with this energy that's flowing through us. We're able to think clearer, make good decisions, and we just keep sharing this energy with everybody, and they in turn do the same. And let's just imagine this possibility occurring if everybody on Earth simply put out the positive vibrations that are flowing through them. Imagine what we could make this world. And we pray, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, source of all life that flows through us, thank you for blessing our lives with this divine energy. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, sending out positive energy and vibes. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of three. Three, coming back to the present moment, filled with confidence. Two, coming back to the present moment, filled with faith. And one, coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is the show for today. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, we can all make a difference in this world just by being positive. It's that simple. So I know there's a lot of challenges we're dealing with. A lot's going to go on over the course of this week as the political game continues on and really ramps up next week. So let's just keep putting positivity out into the mix, and let's just see what happens from there. That's it. All the links are available, First Contact Radio, so you can check out the show and all the stories we did. Until then, I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.